Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to my channel. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. So today I'm going to be talking about the difference between PNF and NDT. Stay tuned. NDT means Neuro-Developmental Treatment, aka bow path approach. NDT is often used to treat hemiplegia. The focus of NDT is relearning normal movement patterns. It is encouraged to use both sides of the extremities when we're doing functional activities, and it's also encouraged to limit compensatory techniques and focus more on normalizing movements and regaining those normal patterns. So if you can remember that NDT is to normalize, balance, and tone. So certain techniques that you will see and use when it comes to NDT is 1, weight-bearing activities of both extremities, recognizing abnormal tone and synergies, facilitating coordinated movements. When facilitating these coordinated movements, also inhibiting abnormal movements. So the techniques are weight-bearing between both sides of the body, through both extremities. That can be simple as, having your patient in the kitchen, both hands are on the counter, and then you have them reaching up with their stronger extremity to open up the cabinet while they're weight bearing through their weaker side, their stroke side. You're also going to want to look at their trunk rotation, scapular protraction, forward positioning of their pelvis, anterior pelvic tilt. You want to facilitate slow and controlled movements as well. And positioning is crucial during functional activities. You want to make sure that they're properly positioned, that they're upright when they're doing these tasks. So again, NDT is all about relearning normal movement. Now, when it comes to PNF, proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation. This is a little different, but it's still one and the same. PNF focuses on, again, normal movement, but also with motor development. So let's talk directional patterns. Now, this can get a little confusing. I know when I was in school, I was like, this doesn't make sense. But you always want to try to put the information with something, or I would say relate the information with what is happening within your life. So one of the first movements is called D1. That simply means the diagonal pattern. So D1, I'm going to just try to show you guys, is your hand is straight. How can I do this? I'm gonna get up and show you guys to make it easier. So D1 extension begins, you're extended, then you go ahead and you flex with hand close towards your radial side. As you can see when I'm brushing my hair, the D1 extension leads with hands opening towards the ulnar side. Usually your eyes and head is to follow, but I'm just giving you an example. You can also see me use my towel there on how I cross. So I go from extension to flexion. Elbows may remain straight and they may flex or extend. This is D1. So D2 flexion begins at the shortened range. It extends with your hand close towards your ulnar side. As you can see, I'm coming from my head and then down. All diagonal patterns head to foot. You cross your midline when performing through the full range. Elbows may remain straight, may flex or extend. And you also have bilateral symmetry, okay? You can go one direction or you can go opposite direction. I'm flexing, so I'm crossing. This is also upper extremity asymmetrical flexion pattern. Now with D2, again, you saw me reach across with the towel. You can also reach across, again, you're picking something up, you bring the hanger and you bring it up, okay? So these techniques are pretty straightforward. But again, with With PNF, you are looking to normalize movement, but you're also looking to develop motor control. Whereas NDT, your focus is relearning normal movement. Again, I'm going to repeat it so you get it. PNF is normalization of movement as well as motor development, and NDT is relearning normal movement. That is the difference between the two. I hope it made sense to you guys. With PNF, we use mass movement patterns to resemble normal movement patterns. Some techniques for PNF would be hand over hand sequencing. We would be looking at reflexes. With PNF, we're going to also look at muscle tone. We're going to look at the antagonist, trying to inhibit and reduce spasticity while facilitating the movement. We're also looking at body alignment. So PNF and NFS can definitely overlap with certain techniques, but you just want to remember that with PNF, it tends to be with, paralysis or certain loss of function due to a neurological condition. And this is why I mentioned about like brain trauma. You are working with the client to help them regain motor development, whereas with NDT, your focus is really relearning normalized movement. So again, they are one and the same, but there are certain differences. Again, with PNF, you have those movement patterns that I try to show you real quick. Whereas NDT, your focus is really reusing of, either both legs, arms, but really facilitating normalized movement patterns with the affected extremity, including it. Because sometimes, hate to say it, but it can be neglected. Sometimes I've seen, not naming any names, but I've seen some therapists would completely neglect that stroke side when we really should be incorporating that weaker side. If you don't remember anything else I just said, just remember that NDT is to normalize, balance, and tone. Whereas PNF is muscle tone, stability and mobility, and alignment. Some procedures for PNF, as I mentioned, is manual contact, which is simply hand over hand, stretching, traction, approximation. Approximation is like weight bearing, is pretty much what that is applying a level of pressure, and compression. You also have rhythmical initiation and also relaxation technique. So to not get caught up with the movements of PNF, just know that it's a rhythmical everyday movement. If I'm reaching across, I'm brushing my hair. This is considered D1. If I am going up for a basket, this is also a symmetrical movement. So don't get wrapped up too much on the different movement patterns, but just know that these are normalized movements. For example, if I'm crossing my arms to take off my shirt, this kind of falls into D2. Okay, so again, it's rhythmical, normalized pattern when it comes to PNF. Whereas NDT, you're working on relearning those movements. So for example, if I have a flexor synergy like this, okay, so what I'm going to be working on is to get my arm to normalize if I want to rest it on the counter, if I want to be able to reach across for an item. Okay, so NDT is really working on allowing this extremity to not stay in that synergy, but to incorporate in functional activities. Also, I'm stretching and I'm elongating that muscle tone. Right, so I hope this makes sense. Please, if you have any questions, be sure to like, share, subscribe, leave me the comments below, and I will get back to you. All right, guys, take care.